Dun, 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 dun. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Bum, 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 bum. What's up, party people in the house?
What up, though?
Welcome to Axis Live, one of the sexiest voices in the SFL,
Mr. Master.
Dave Axis. Boom. Oh, gosh. This is what I get for going away from that. Unbelievable. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? What's up, party people of the SFL? Look at that. I take one day off. I forget how to do the damn show. I just wanted to see all the You're Muted bros in the chat, see if you guys were on the ball. I did that for you. You're welcome. Yes, DR Sim, what a way to start the show. I'm telling you, man, I take one day off. What the hell happens? Anyway, what's up, party people of the SFL? Welcome to episode, what are we on now, 103? I'm going to go with 103. Yeah, let's do 103 of Axis Live. You're welcome, Frank the Franchise Wade. I apologize for not being here on Tuesday. Sometimes things happen, life happens, shit happens. It is what it is. It's called You Have a Real Life. Imagine that. It's crazy. Anyway, episode 103 tonight. Mystery panelist number 19. I will be shocked if any of you guess this before I get to the last hint. We're going to talk SFL Season 17 rookie draft tonight. We have some special guests. One was going to be on the whole show. Let me take a peek. But they are going to have to wait until after dark. They're going to come on after dark instead because they had something going on with their family they had to attend to. Again, real life things happen. Hopefully we're going to have Gunny's Pearls of Wisdom. As of right now, he's going to be on his phone, and he's going to be hooking us up. He's got internet issues. He had to order a new modem, so he couldn't be on his computer. But hopefully, by the time we get to him tonight, we'll still have him on phone. And then, of course, we will have Access After Dark tonight for sure because I at least have one guest for After Dark, potentially 3 guests for After Dark. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I missed the cam call today because I was working, and then I had to, what else did I have to do? Oh, yeah, I had to prep for this show. That little thing. So what I found out, though, was apparently after that, there was a little breaking news today. Did you guys hear anything about that? Let's see if I have a jingle for that. Oh, do you hear that? I don't know if you guys can hear it if it's loud enough, but we have breaking news in the SFL and now on Axis Live. Congratulations to Albert Begin and Yogi Barr, both being promoted to co-GMs of the Lone Star Glory. Don't know if you missed the announcement we had earlier in like maybe about a half hour ago, I think, in league content or team content in the SFL Discord server. But feel free to check that out. And you can read what we wrote about them. Yes, Nelson Lozano calling himself as the first ever 2-time mystery panelist on the Axis Live show. Attaboy, Nelson. Way to let the cat out of the bag, bro. What is DR Sim? I want to see DJ Axis on the 1s and 2s. Ooh, you know what? That idea has some merit. All my vinyl's still in storage in California, so I can't bring my own, but maybe we can hook something up. That would be badass. Good idea, DR Sim. All right, so that breaking news. Again, congrats to Albert and Yogi, and we are hoping to have them on the show at some point as well. Oh, Bo, is Bo Martin Jr. listening? Bo, if you can tell Eagle what you just DM'd me, that would help me out a lot, bro. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. In the meantime, let's move on to what else we got to talk about. Oh, wait a minute. We can't talk about anything because we got to check out the favorite part, my favorite part of the show, the Axis Live party people. Yo, party people. Yo, get funky. All right. DR Sim first, Will Todd second. I love everybody's numbering themselves now when they come in. That's awesome. That's what she said. David Leathers, the guy with the best first name in the SFL. Nate Hall, Frank the Franchise Wade, the amazing, wonderful, perfect Pink Lisa is in the house. Jacob Clear is here. Bob Funk, Art Vandelay, Biff Markham, Kendra Hall is here as well, along with Nate Boonberry. Albert Begin. Albert, congrats again. Well deserved for you and Yogi both. James Walters, 87. Mel Davis is back. Bo Martin Jr., I guess you were listening to me. Can you let Eagle know about that little hiccup and we'll get that rectified? I appreciate that. Eddie Gage, what up, Doe, is in the house. Eddie Gage, we're going to talk about you a little bit near the end of the show and your show on Friday night. That was some good stuff, bro. Bailey is here. Congrats to you, bro. We're going to talk about you tonight as well. Let me see. Who else is in this shindig right here? Who's in the house? Bo Martin Jr. already said. Eagle Mondavi. Oh, he is here. Look at, ha ha, you're making fun of me, but you didn't do what you were supposed to do, Eagle. Let me see. I've seen a lot of repeats. Will Todd already said. Ba, 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 ba. Mel Davis already said. Is there just not? Is that just? Does it just look like there's a lot of people and there's not really? Just everybody's very hyped tonight. Black Butter says, "What's up?" Nelson Lozano is here. Mentioned him earlier. Charles is in the house. Glad to see you. Mike All is here. Jeff Gagne is here. Casper Chewy, Chance Wall is in the house. And Deion Hawkins sneaking in along with Mac Anthony at the last second. I think that's it. If I missed you, if I forgot you, if I didn't see you, go ahead and at me, and we can hook that up in a moment. I'm about to introduce the party people. I'm sorry, the panel of Axis as I'm getting another DM from Bo Martin Jr. Sweet. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Way to be on the ball, Eagle. But before we do that, because we already had this breaking news, yes, we did, breaking news on Axis Live, but not really because 30 minutes ago it was in the Discord server. But we are going to have Albert and Yogi on the show real quick so I can just congratulate them, ask them a couple questions. And they are both they're in the Showtime room. Albert, Yogi, both of you, welcome to the show. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm good, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. Yogi, how about you, bro? Yogi, are you muted, bro? Are you doing that shit on purpose are you trolling me right now? I think Yogi's trolling me. Yogi the troll. Yogi's muted. All right, Albert, let's start talking to you. First of all, I know we've been talking about this for a while. You've been waiting for a while. You've been chomping at the bit. How's it feel to finally get it out there, get it announced, and get that ball rolling as the co-GM of Lone Star?
Very excited to be the new co-GM for Lone Star Glory. I've been waiting a while, trying to keep it quiet, but I am super excited to get started.
That's awesome. Do we have Yogi yet? No, Yogi's muted still. Yogi must have had to step away. He's got like 17 grandchildren at his house right now, so he's probably a little busy. He could be tied up. He could literally be tied up right now. Albert, you were the GM at Queen City. You were the head coach over there. You're not going to be the GM and the head coach here as well. Are you comfortable wearing dual hats, and how do you feel about doing that over here?
I'm very comfortable. I sat in that role for 2 seasons with QCC. I think coming over with some of the experience I learned can help you guys out, and hopefully train Yogi to be just as good.
Well, let's see. Do we have Yogi yet? Anybody? Yogi going once? Yogi going twice? No. We'll just leave him on here, and whenever he pops in, we'll just like make a detour with the show. Albert, last question for you. Last season, you and James Troll, who has also come over to Lone Star as our defensive coordinator, you guys at Queen City had the #1 rushing defense in all the SFL last season. I'm sure you guys feel good about that. And how do you feel about the potential of bringing that to Lone Star? I think we were like 5th or 6th as well, so we weren't too shabby. But how do you feel about bringing that over to Lone Star and trying to get us to be the #1 run defense in the league as well? What's up, Nacho?
I'm gonna try my best. I think with this team already, it has a lot of valuable players, and I think that me and James will just duplicate hopefully what we did in QCC.
I hope you do. Albert, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for coming on the show. Congrats again. If Yogi suddenly pops up, we'll talk to him. But in the meantime, we'll get this show rolling. So, Albert, congrats again. Thanks again for popping on, bro.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity, and you and Charles and everyone else, and thank you for having me.
You got it, bro. Thanks again. All right, let's get to our panel now. Um, in the unscripted circle, again, he's no stranger to this show. He does this like I was like clockwork now. It comes easy. It's almost like breathing uh, for him. So, with no further ado, in the unscripted circle, the man who's been on probably the third most Axis Live shows is none other than, oop, not that guy. Ooh, that was close. I almost messed that up. That would have been messed up. Frank the Franchise Wade. Frank, what's up, bro? How you doing?
Dave, I don't know if you realize or not, but you just probably set me up for failure since I can do this in my sleep. But I just have a feeling now something's going to happen.
That's awesome. Well, wait, what is that? What is that thing you have? You have something on your chest or something? You have something on you. What is that?
Revolution, babe. Oh. Set up.
Sorry, bro. I couldn't help it. But all right, I see you sporting your swamp stuff. I'm gonna skip unfiltered for right now. I'm gonna go back there, and you'll find out for a minute. We're gonna go to unedited first. Somebody who's about to go on vacation in the morning, but he packed up early just so he could hang out with us tonight. I am speaking of none other than Mr. Nate Hall, drinking beer. It looks like you're already on vacation with that beer, bro. What's going on? How you doing tonight, man?
I am wonderful. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing outstanding. Real quick, DR Sim in the chat. Albert, the South Division is a different beast. That's true. We are the hardest. We are the toughest division. Coach Craven saying that's my teammate. Well, Coach, I don't know what to tell you. You've played more games with me than you have with him, so hey-oh. What else we got here? Geez, I'm 15 minutes late, and Davis just introducing Frank. Oh, because you missed us talking to Albert. As soon as Yogi gets unmuted, I'm going to jump over to him, too. So this show is, like, all over the place. We're sideways. We're making left-hand turns with no blinkers the whole 9 yards. So, Yogi, are you with us yet? Nope, he's still muted. All right. In the unfiltered circle, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat tonight. Some of you have asked for it, and this guy, he delivers. You've asked for it, and he's going to deliver tonight. And the only thing I can say about this guy is not only has he been all over his house, and not only has he been all outside his house with the cops coming up and his neighbors bugging him, but now he is all over the... Oh, wrong button. Oh, that was the right button. Oh. Nope. Dude, what happened to you? Are you still there? Hold on. What did I do? Oh, that's me. I'm sorry. Dude, I am messing this. Look at that. I can't take time off anymore. I think he bounced. Oh, it isn't me. I thought it was me. We lost him. Are you there, bro, or not? Because I don't see you.
Dave.
I don't see you. We don't see you in the unfiltered circle.
Oh, Dave, this sucks. I'll get you a new camera.
All right, send me a new OBS Ninja link. All right, everybody, you're in for a special treat. As soon as we can get the camera back up for Mike All. Mike All is in a very special place. Let me see what's going on here. I know. See, Will Todd, what happens, bro? Like, I take one show off, and Charles saying Dave isn't giving it his all. Hey yo. Let me see who else. Yeah. Nate, what do you? Somebody wants to know what you're drinking, Nate. Kentucky Vanilla Barrel Ale.
That is correct. Kentucky Vanilla Barrel Cream Ale.
All right, there we go. All right, let's see. Do we get a new link from Mike All? We did. All right, Mike All. Hopefully this one worked. I don't know what happened. You were fine in sound check. There's not even going to be any ado, if you will, because it's just going to pop up. If he's there, he's there. If not, I don't know what to say. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. All over his house, all inside his jacuzzi, drinking a beer. Michael, welcome back to the show, bro. You know what? People wanted it. They asked for it, and you're giving it to them. What's going on, man?
Dave, I am bringing the nipple power tonight.
Somebody asking, is there a flush handle? They need bleach for my eyes. Drinking a beer. That's Mike. Oh, yeah. Are you drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade, or what are you
Yeah.
drinking?
No, it's always Mike's, baby. It's always Mike's.
Somebody's saying you got the nipple power, nipple alls. I mean, oh, nipples. Oh, hey, Hacker's here,
Dave.
everybody. AJ's here. Oh, AJ says you need to get your OnlyFans going, your OnlyFans page.
Yeah.
Are we on your OnlyFans page right now? Is that why we had camera issues?
Yes, Dave Access Live is my OnlyFans. But it's been the most requested location to provide for the audience. Now that the draft is over, it's time for me to relax. Here we are in the hot tub.
Perfect. All right. Well, before I get to our mystery panels number 19, let me check one more time for Yogi and see if Yogi is available yet. He's still up there, but I see him muted. Yogi, are you available? I think Yogi just doesn't want to talk. He's going to be the quietest co-GM in the league. All right, I guess not. We'll get to him when we get to him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, mystery panelist number 19, right out the gate. Any guesses of who it could be? I already said I don't think anybody's going to get it until probably the third hint. So let's see. I know Nelson said it was himself. I'm going to go with that's a no. Marty, oh, look at Lone Star Glory, the owner of the brewery I work for. That's pretty funny. No guesses? No guesses? All right, here's your first guess. He's never been on the show. Well, I guess the first hint actually is it's a he. Second hint is he's never been on the show in any capacity whatsoever. Never been on video, never been on voice, never chimed in after dark, nothing. Never, ever, ever been on the show. David Leathers, I'm going to go with no on Greg Soto. I think he's been on. Eagle Monduffy says Chad Sober. You know what? That actually is a great guess. Chad Sober on the show. Heyo. Will Todd, that's a good guess. Who else? Is it TJ? That's a good guess. Mystery guess is the dude with the straw blowing bubble in Mike Hall's tub. Hugo. Oh, I don't think. No, I think Hugo might have been on once. AJ, I don't remember. Raven. All right, Optimus Klein. Well, these are all really good guesses. All right, here's your second hint. This person, he's been around since season 12. He got here in season 12. If you got TJ, you're the man. You know what, DR Sim? I'm going to take that challenge. I'm going to see what I can do. Somebody said Gerald. Doug Britton said me. No, I don't think it's you, Doug. Unless you know something I don't know. Jacob Clear says I know who it is now. Well, let's see if anybody says. All right, then here is your third, or I guess technically your fourth and final hint. I got to look this up, though. It was DM'd to me. Here's your fourth and final hint. Oh, someone said Ethan Kai. That's a good hint, too. I mean, a good guess. Sorry. How about this? But enough about me. Let's talk about me. What do you think of me? There's the last hint. Does anybody know that quote? Somebody said Dion. Nope. TJ's not doing it, bro. Uh-oh, Jacob Clear. Is that what you got it? Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you now for the first time ever on Axis Live the co-owner of the Charleston Predators, Mr. Mello Taylor / Johnny Bravo. Mello Taylor / Johnny Bravo. What's up tonight, bro? How you doing?
What's
man?
up, Dave?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Good. Thanks for being
I don't know
here
if I can
tonight.
follow up Mike All over there.
I mean,
I didn't know if I needed to take my shirt off or what I needed to do.
Well, you know what?
Wasn't
That's
sure.
you know what I'm more concerned about is Mike only topless right now. That's my main concern. Because are we talking? Is he all skinny dipping other than playing with his nipples?
I mean, if he does have a Speedo on, I would like to see his Speedo.
Are you wearing a Speedo, Mike? I love this SFL show that we spent a half an hour talking about everything but the SFL. So
Whatever the conversation leads to.
I don't know what I'm going to call you tonight. You've got so many names. I think I'm just going to call you Johnny for the Johnny Bravo. How
It's
about
fine. It's
that?
perfect.
Mello Taylor, the man. Johnny Bravo, the player. Before we move on to anything else, let me spend a couple minutes with you, and let's talk about you and your new venture along with Jack Brown over in Charleston. It came out, I think it was, about a week and a half ago maybe? A new era in Charleston. Predators sold to Jack Brown and Johnny Bravo. SFL Communications, June 23rd, so about a week ago. The SFL's Board of Governors has approved the sale of the Charleston Predators to longtime players and front office staff Jack Brown and Mello Taylor. So, first of all, tell me, how's it feel to be an owner in the SFL?
It's great. It's great. It's still kind of sinking in. I'm just excited to take over ownership of a team that I've been with for 5 seasons. I came in with the team when it was Indianapolis. I came in as took the place of a cornerback in week 3, I think it was. And so I moved with the team when Alan took over. There were only 4 players that moved with the team, and worked my way up to GM. And it's awesome to be able to take over along with Jack, he's been with the team for 4 seasons as well. So.
Yeah, we tried to get Jack Brown on too, but Jack is he's too busy of a man for our show, I think.
Yeah, he's at work. He's a working man.
Yeah, what's up with that? What is this whole I have to work stuff lately? I don't know. It's going around. It's contagious. Let me ask you this. How long was this whole idea in the works? And did it change? Were you guys initially going to come on as part owners, or was it always going to be Alan selling the whole thing? And how long was this kind of in the works with you guys?
It was something that Alan had been looking to do. He wanted to be able to. He's always has wanted to bring people up within the team, whether it's by a player build. Like with Jay Taylor, he had been our tight end, and he wanted to be a wide receiver. So if we needed a wide receiver, we built him so we could work him up. And he's now up to a wide receiver. But Alan wanted someone who would be able to take over the team. He didn't want to have to sell the team and it fall apart and all that. He wanted to be able to hand it off. So he had been planning it for a while. It was just finding the right people to take over for it. And it was, I think Alan was going to stay this season. He was kind of on the fence, and he just decided he was ready to ride off in the sunset. And, we were ready to take over. It wasn't, it's just whenever he was ready to lead the SFL, was, ready when he was done with having the enjoyment in the league.
Well, last question, and then we'll get on to some SFL other stuff. Is what's it like working with Jack Brown? Jack's been on the show a few times. He's done some minor league stuff for us. He's quite the character, bro.
Yeah, it's fun working with him. I'm a laid back, joking person. I'm about 90% BS, and he's about the same. He likes to mess around and joke around, and I enjoy having him. I mean, it's exciting to have him as a co-owner because he was brought in as a free agent for the start of Charleston the first season 13. So he's been with the team, since the start, and it's just exciting for both of us to be able to take it over. And he's working on some uniforms. We're looking at putting a little spin on our uniforms just for the new era, and he's working on that, and I'm excited to see what he's going to come up with. I think everybody else is going to like the team's going to like the jerseys that we have along with the SFL.
That is awesome. Thanks for giving us something else to look forward to. Congrats, and thanks for coming on the show tonight, bro.
Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
Of course. All right, let's get this going. Let me check the chat real quick again. Benji's here. Greg Soto's here. Nacho I mentioned. AJ I mentioned. I think that's all the newbies. Doug Britton. Swole. What's up, Swole? I think that's everybody else that's jumped in since the last time. All right, last chance for Yogi Bar. Yogi Bar, going once. Can you hear me? Are you available? Are you unmuted? Yogi Bar going twice. Yogi Bar sold to the man in the blue. I don't know what's going on with Yogi, so I guess we won't get a chance to talk to him. If he pops up during the show, then we'll see what we can do. All right, let's go on to the SFL calendar. Just a quick reminder. Frank the Franchise Way. Yogi Bar fired already. Nice. Leon Thunderman, what's going on, bro? Good to see you here. And MSG just showed up. July 3rd. That's in 2 days. Transactions closed. That's it. Then all we've got left is the All-Star game. And then the season, I believe, starts in, 3 weeks and 2 days from today. So just a quick reminder of that, a little heads up. But let's talk about what everybody's here to talk about this evening, and that is the SFL draft of Season 17. Round one, it had, almost 3 complete rounds. I want to say a little over 2.5 rounds. Frank, I'm going to begin with you. As you look at just the first round, I see lots of names I've seen in chat, I've seen on the show, I've seen on Twin Screws list, I've seen on draft boards and all that. Was there any first round surprises for you based on what you see in these top 24 picks?
The main surprise I had was the depth at linebacker that was sitting there. How many linebackers were going earlier? I thought, running back. I mean, not running back. Kicker, offensive line, and those positions would be heated there at the beginning. Linebackers would be taken later. There was a couple of names that stood out. Thunderman and Axel Raven. Those linebackers I knew would go early, but those others that were falling in the first round, I had in my mock draft slated them to go later. And then teams that there's 4 kickers on the board. Teams needing kickers, passing on kickers, and just saying we're going to go generic was a surprise to me as well.
Yeah, Mike, you had the opportunity to actually be on one of the shows this weekend, correct?
I was on both days, Dave.
Were you on both days? Sorry, I couldn't catch the whole thing,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
As you were there, you were live. What was the craziest thing that you think happened this weekend, particularly in the first round, if you can, but just overall?
The amount of kickers that went in the top 10, Dave. We definitely, I think, set a record for the amount of kickers taken in the top 10. And they were all quality people. We had Patai at number 2.
Yep.
Dan Morrow
Yep.
going at number 8. And my guy from SLC, Sonny J, who unfortunately was having some medical issues, so he was in the hospital during the draft. But I'm really proud of that kid. He got drafted top 10. He's going to have a great career in the league, and I'm really proud of that guy.
Yeah. Have we heard? Has anybody heard? Is he okay now? Has anybody heard? Anybody in chat?
Last I heard, it was still positive. He was coming along good.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. Real quick, let me check chat real quick before I get to Nate. Saw something I wanted to read. Greg Soto, over 100 shows, close to 20 mystery guests, and still no Art Vandelay. It's not like he hasn't been invited. I'm just saying. I love Sonny J, says DR Sim. Oh, and DR Sim, he's doing great. That's good to hear, bro. Glad to hear that. Master Chief, we will get to you momentarily, bro. And yes, Leon Thunderman, congrats on being the number 1 overall pick. The second number 1 overall pick in San Diego history. Glad to see that you got that. Nate, listen, Lone Star was one of 3 teams, along with, I think it was Florida, and what was the other team that didn't draft? Anybody remember off the top of the head?
It was Vancouver.
Was it Vancouver? Okay. So you have ties with 2 of the
Vancouver
3
and
teams.
Arizona.
Oh,
Vancouver and Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. I thought it was Florida. Yeah. Okay. So Arizona. Thank you. Oh, you know what, Gunny? I didn't introduce you because I wasn't sure if you were going to be on or not. So my bad. Gunny, welcome to the show. Are you hanging in there with your phone, bro?
Yeah, it's all good, Dave.
Okay, perfect. We will be to you shortly, so thank you for chiming in there and helping me. Art Vanley says, damn, Dave called me out just saying, ayo. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, 3. So, and we're going to talk about this later. I saw Jason Miller's, who's throwing Mike All? Is Bo Martin around? Is Bo Morpheus Jr. around? Look at Mike. Started to go into the Matrix. Don't let that happen, Mike. Oh, and there he goes. Oh, and he's back. Hey, Leon Thunderman, you're welcome, bro. Good for you. And look at Bo Martin Jr. popping on. Poof. Those 3 teams didn't draft. Jason Miller did a 5 teams that he felt, I think, won the draft. I would say the 3 teams who didn't have to draft won the draft, technically. But that being said, we didn't have to draft at Lone Star, Nate. As you look over this first round, other than the kickers and linebackers like these 2 mentioned, what sticks out to you? What's Mike all laughing at, by the way? Bo will appear from the waters soon. Art Vandelay, that's why you're not on the show. Hey-o. All right, go ahead, Nate. Sorry.
No, you're good. What sticks out to me is the fact that there were only 4 or 5 defensive tackles available in this draft from minor league teams, and not a single one was drafted in this first round.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think other teams were trying to see what the other teams were in the league were trying to do at that position. When you got closer towards the end of that first round, the 22 through 24, when some of these, they had second picks in that first round, like San Diego and DC. Um, they still didn't pick a DT, so I think these guys knew that they were good to wait until later rounds to get those defensive tackles.
Gotcha. You're killing me with the comments in the chat, by the way, folks. Um, between Art Vandelay and Frank and Coach and everybody, geez, and Bo Martin Jr. Now listen, if Mike All goes into the Matrix and Bo shows up there in that jacuzzi afterwards, I'm just gonna blow this show up and just turn it off, and I'm gonna fix the rating on Twitch for it. All right, Mello Taylor / Johnny Bravo. Let me get over to you, bro. You had, it looks like, one pick in the first round. Where'd he go? Who'd you pick in the first round?
We got John Laley.
John. All right, there you go. Number 12, defensive end. Tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about him. How your recruiting went with him, and what he's going to do for Charleston, especially with the kind of things with the ownership changeover, the new direction that the team may be going. How's he fit into that?
He's gonna be going for the quarterback, looking for the running back, fullback, working the offensive lineman, getting in the holes. We had the thing with him was we were only gonna have to draft in the first round, but we had a defensive end that just ghosted within with the last couple of days of free agent, so we were toast on that. So our priority moved up to getting a lineman to fill in. And Jacob Clear has been brought in. He was brought in initially as offensive coordinator, and then when Allen departed, he and I really worked well together. And it's like, man, I'm gonna need a GM. So he was the one that he did all the interviews and had a list of guys that we could look at drafting. And so we reviewed the list, and that's who we decided to go off of. We had him and a few other guys, and he was our number one pick, and that's who we got.
That's no, that's good. That's an awesome story. Frank, let me run back to you real quick. As I'm looking through, Tommy Utah, first quarterback off the board. The quarterbacks go back to back, and then one more, it looks like, in this round. But we don't see any running backs until, is Hazard the first one off the board? 19, yeah, 19th. Talk about maybe why the skill positions were not very dominant in this first round.
Well, as far as running back goes, there was only two teams that really needed a running back. May possibly two other teams going with a double running back role that kind of went that direction last year. I was kind of thinking maybe Florida would do the same thing. They did not. But you had four good running backs you could choose from. I don't think you can go wrong with any. Whatever running back was taken, you couldn't go wrong with that running back. Jimmy Hazard is electrifying on the field. He's been active in chat. Bailey O'Shaughnessy, is just active and good on the field and stuff like that. So you couldn't go wrong. And so you can wait on those positions like that. Same thing with wide receivers. I think there was only, 4 wide receiver spots open, and there's about 5 or 6 good wide receivers. So those positions could wait. And that's when you start seeing teams go O-line and possibly D-tackle, which we didn't see that happen in kicker.
Michael, is there anybody that did not get drafted in the first round that you thought would have got drafted in the first round, and they either got drafted later or did not get drafted at all?
Well, due to a miscalculation on certain people's parts, there was an issue later on, but we're not going to address that right now. The guy I was surprised that didn't go in the first round was Dante Grimm. He's super active. He's on the ball with memes. He's hilarious. He's a great guy. I thought for sure that he would end up in the perfect location that matches his overall scheme, which is Carolina, but he didn't end up there in the first round, nor did he end up there in the whole draft.
Interesting. Okay. Nate, as I'm looking over this, excuse me real quick. I see. Going back to the quarterbacks, I want to be careful how I word this question. I don't want the question is not, who's the best quarterback or whatever. Which of the teams that drafted a quarterback in the first round do you think fit their need the best with that specific quarterback between Utah, Bruin, and Green?
So I was trying to see. Utah went to Louisiana.
Bruin
OJ
went to
Bruin
Portland.
Portland.
Yep. And then Green went over to Vegas.
Okay. I'm going to be honest here. I don't know much about OJ Bruin or Josh Green, but I think Tommy Utah is going to fit that mold in Louisiana pretty good. Just from what I've seen of him in the minor league season this year, he's a good gunslinger, like Pickler used to be. I think he can fill in that spot pretty well, and but they're not going to want to rush him too much being a rookie either. So he's going to have a nice, nice player and a running back of Reggie Streeter to hand the ball off to get him warmed up in the first few games of the season.
Johnny Bravo, I asked you about your specific player on the first question. I asked you about this first round. Anything else about the first round stick out to you? Can be anything you want. Doesn't have to be anything I asked these guys. Anything, somebody that you thought was going to be drafted or somebody, maybe a surprise. Anything that stands out in the first round to you?
Well, from our point of view, with us having to get a defensive line, I thought a lot of teams in front of us would pick up defensive linemen. There were some teams behind us that needed it as well, so I was surprised with that. The thing that, just looking over this, is the need for quarterback this season, because over the past, we didn't draft last offseason, but the one before that, I believe there was a thing with, there's not enough quarterbacks, and these guys are going to have to stay in the SFLM again another season and wait for the cornerback position. So all these teams needing quarterback if you wanted to be a quarterback this season, here you go. I see 3 on here. I'm not sure if one was taken the next round. I think there was, but that's one thing that sticks out for me.
Well, let's find out if there was a quarterback taken in the second round. But before we get to that, Gunny, you still hanging out with us?
Yes, he is.
All right, great. Let's do your pearls of wisdom now, just in case we lose you later. We can get that out of the way. So you are ready to rock and roll, my friend.
Hey, good evening, everyone. If you want to send me a modem, please do. The address is, never mind, one's on the way. Good evening to everybody. Congratulations to all our draftees in the season 17 draft. To the front offices of the South Division, Houston Hyenas, DR Sim, Fort Worth Toros, Hacker and Nacho, and to the other team, which is crossing my mind off the top of my head, Mexico City with Ramos Lynn. Hey, great congratulations to all these organizations for their draft. The South Division is going to look sharp again in season 17. Some of the guys that I've had the pleasure of speaking to during the draft and after the draft, Axel Raven, David Ware, OJ Bruin, Sonny J, the kicker at Houston, Aiden Bleeker, Aaron Alexander, Jimmy Hazard, congratulations, Isaiah King III, Stefan Forge. Pharrell Sutherland, chance to win. The favorite name that I like in the SFL, the first name of Brian, spells it with the letter Y. Brian French, center of Jacksonville, the 33rd pick. That's my guy right now. Also, a couple more. Danny Valentine. The last name of Maximus, that just sounds like a football player right there. Philadelphia Collins, Robert Cron, Nate Ritters, Justice Blackwell. We're up to the 49th pick now. Anybody with the name of Tiger Santana, Talon Steele, my neighbor Jim Copeland, Nana Laley, the Dante Grimm, And Mr. Relevant, Bailey O'Shaughnessy, and David Burr, congratulations to all these gentlemen, and to the ones that are going back to the minor league. I wish you the best of luck, and we'll be rooting for you and looking for you in seasons to come. David, that is it for me. That is all. Enjoy the rest of the show. Mike, all that looks relaxing. I may have to do that myself one day.
That would be awesome, Gunny. All right, Gunny, thanks for coming on. Thanks for hanging in there and doing this on your phone, even though you don't have any internet at home. And hopefully you get your modem before the next show. Our Vandelay and say, poor Dante Grimm. Yeah. And I mean, Dante Grimm and who's the other big one? Reside, I think, was one. And there was a few of them that I was a little surprised that did not get drafted. Let's move on to the second round. Let's start with Frank again. Frank, Queen City. Was it Queen City involved in one of those trades where they moved up? And I guess they moved up to get Spelling at wide receiver, probably to excuse me, to replace Chris. Other than that, do you see any other big moves in this second round? Any shockers? Anybody that you think maybe got drafted too early or too late?
Well, there was a couple of Nate Ritter's the receiver drafted almost at the end of the round. Kind of surprised me a lot. Like I said, there was only about 4 teams, maybe 5 teams looking for a receiver, and he was one of the better ones. And to be going that late kind of surprised me.
Yeah, Eddie Gage is saying yes, Dave. Why is he? Oh, he's talking about the Queen City thing. Gotcha. Mike All. Again, I'm assuming. What rounds were you on? Were you on all 3 rounds?
I was on all 3 rounds, sir.
Okay. Then give me some inside information about this second round and how things went down, and then tell me how it is working with Cam when he's producing a show.
So Cam did a great job. So Dave, and I'm sorry that you missed this. Some people will definitely want to talk about it, I'm sure. But every pick I made, I was in a new location eating a different food item, Dave.
That's awesome. I'm going to have to go back and watch it. Unfortunately, I had to work, so I missed it.
Oh, yeah. In the second round here, I threw out the Easter egg for my my guy, Brian French. I was eating French fries on camera. But there were some great things that happened in here. Seeing my friend in real life, Nate Ritters, get drafted in his second season was really great. Going to Mexico City, the biggest surprise in here, I guess Garrett Hudson falling so far to Atlanta at 42. He's a really good build at linebacker, and he's going to do great things there. But yeah, there was a lot of fun things that happened during the second round that was definitely worth watching.
Nate, by the way, some people said they had a hard time hearing you last time. I turned you up. If you guys are having a hard time hearing Nate, let me know. I turned him up a little bit. So I mentioned in the first round, lots of big names that we've seen, not just in games in the SFL, but in chats and what have you. Not quite as many popular names. Nate Ritters maybe, Justice Blackwell. Who else is Sutherland maybe. What name pops out to you in this second round?
Well, that 4th quarterback that got drafted, Eric Price, he was a Madison Lynx like I was in my first season in minor leagues, my only season in minor leagues. I was happy to see him go finally in that second round. I can't see what that is. Is that to Denver? I think that's to Denver.
It is to Denver.
All right, yeah. So he's going to be filling in nicely where Josh Miller left off. So he's going to be involved in that rebuild or retooling of that team. So all the best to him coming up in season 17. Doug Spelling, I think it's another one that was a good wide receiver last season in the minor leagues. So that it was good to see him go on.
And Queen City traded up for him, it seems like, so that's good.
Right.
And a lot of people, I don't know if you're watching the chat, but they're saying Crone at offensive guard Let me see if I can find where he is. 45th pick to Jacksonville. Everybody's saying that was a surprise or a shocker, except for the man who picked him, sitting over there in the hot tub, says didn't surprise me. What do you think about that? About an offensive guard going almost about the end of the second round?
Mike spotted the need and picked him up. I don't think it was that crazy of a thing to do. He had the spot to fill. I think that's definitely a good guy to get on the team to help protect his quarterback and make some running lanes for his running back. So good pick.
That's good. Johnny, let's move on to you, bro. This time I do see your pick before I ask you the question. Sutherland at fullback. Explain this pick to us. Explain what you think he's going to be to your team and the recruiting process that you went through with him.
Well, he's going to be fantastic to the team. I've enjoyed having him on the team thus far, chatting in the locker room with him. Once again, it was Jacob Clear taking over the GM. He had a list of fullbacks. Well, we had different positions. This was kind of one where we could play around. We could fill a offensive line or bring in another tight end or fullback. So it was, we needed to fill our need in the first round. So we had a list of fullbacks, and Alexander went. There was another one that went, and so the last one that we had was Sutherland. I think we had another one. But this one was just a toss-up, and we, our defense has always been good, and the offense we've got a stacked offense, and it's kind of struggled. So it's just whatever we wanted to do. This was just kind of whatever we wanted to feel. So we want to go bring in a fullback. He's the first fullback for this franchise, and we're excited to have him. This is going to be a exciting season for us.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Hey, everybody's talking about Chris Britton. Did I miss him in the first round, or is he here in the second round? And is he in relation to Doug? Doug, is this a family member of yours or something? Do we know? Or Britton was in the first round. Oh, okay. Is the chat way behind, or is it just me? Well, I don't know what's going on. Oh, wrong Britton.
I think they're saying Britton. Britton was the other fullback.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
Fullback late in the first round.
Yeah, let's pop that up real quick here. Chris Britton, you guys see him? Oh, yeah, number 23. Looks like he went to D.C. Okay, good call. And then Doug Britton reminding everybody that he was a 7th rounder, but he's turning into a miraculous special teams player and wide receiver in the SFL. We're gonna jump.
Dave, can I add something real quick?
Yeah.
On that second round.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it with some of these punter names? All right, I can't wait to see Chance to Win at number 32 take the field. So last season we had Dustin McCrack who won Diva of the Week.
Yeah.
1 week last season. Now we got Chance to Win that's going to be trying to pin teams deep in their.
Yeah, everybody has some very interesting special team players. I think Lone Star has a kicker, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but there's a lot of interesting names in the league for sure.
Purvis.
Oh, Purvis. There you go. That's what we call him. Let's go to round 3 for a second, and we're going to talk more about these rounds after we go through them with our special guests that looks like they just got here. But let's run through this third round first. Frank, as you look at wait, I thought you said Dante Grimm did not get. Somebody said Dante Grimm did not get drafted, but he. Oh, is this the pick you're talking about, Mike? That was the extra pick, and they had to go back. Okay. Okay, so let's talk. We'll talk about that when we get to Mike. Frank, let me ask you. O'Shaughnessy has been a big name in the SFL minor league. He's been around for a while. Denver did the smart thing by waiting to pick him because nobody else needed a running back after the first one got picked. He's now Mr. Relevant / Mr. Irrelevant of the SFL. Great, strategy by Denver, obviously, but also a great pickup. Talk about that for a moment, if you don't mind.
Probably the most important Mr. Irrelevant that's ever been drafted. This guy is going to fill in nicely in Denver. I think he's a carbon copy of what McChesney was. Just a runner that can push people out of the way or lower shoulder and run through people. Not much of you see a lot of these guys that have the spin move and he was just lower the shoulder and run you over. And I think Shaughnessy is the same way.
Mike, let me ask you, explain this whole Dante Grimm situation to me. I've heard bits and pieces about it, and I'm not trying to lay blame or call people out. I just want to get the story, and if anybody else doesn't know the story, just the facts of what actually went down, what happened.
It's okay, Dave. Some of us were on the commissioner call tonight, so I'll lay the blame on Cam here. It was a league oversight. There was a signing at almost the 0 hour of free agency. Cam accidentally overlooked it. Anything. Added an extra pick to Mexico City, and no blame on Ray here. He's got the new baby on the brain, which I always like to say looks like a little Rastelli. But there was the oversight there, and neither one of them caught it in time, so they made the pick of Dante Grimm, which was great. But unfortunately, the pick had to be voided, and he had to go back to the minors.
That is a bummer. Do you know if anybody's talked to him since? How's he doing about that?
No, he's been all class about it. He's using it to pump him up for next minor league season. He's raring to go, and chances are we'll see him called first on the draft next year.
Well, let's hope. That would be great. He's one of a couple people that I was surprised. Obviously, he was going to be drafted, but there's a couple other names. Reside is, I think, the first one that comes to mind. Just surprises the people who didn't get drafted, but that's part of the problem, right? So many minor league people, only so many spots, in the big leagues. Nate, as you look at this third round, what jumps out to you?
The fifth quarterback was taken to Dave Burr there towards the very end. And then another, Link's brother, and so to speak, Jim Copeland Jr. at tight end was taken at number 55. So good picks by both of those teams.
Yeah, Copeland Jr., I feel like I might know who he is. I feel like he was somebody else before or something, and he came back in the minor league or something. If anybody remembers what that is, let me know in the chat. Let's wrap up this third round with you, Johnny. What sticks out to you in this third round other than the things that we just talked about?
The defensive line. Teams filling in defensive line here in the last round. You would think that maybe they would go a little bit earlier, but teams have the game plan depending on how many positions they need to fill. But you would think maybe those would go a little bit earlier than the last round, because there's quick count, I think 4 or 5 here. 4.
Yeah. And as I'm seeing in the chat real quick, a lot of people are saying, the 2 of those last 3 picks with Burr and Bailey maybe being like the steals of the draft because they were taken so late. Burr getting a lot of love in the chat right now, so good for him as well. We're going to stay with talking about these, and I'm going to bring a special guest on in a moment, but before I do, I got to just check and see if Yogi is here yet. Yogi Bar, are you back? Are you here? Are you unmuted? Are you with us? Are you around? I see your name. I see you're muted. I don't know if maybe he just can't.
I am not muted.
Hey, there you go. Where you been, bro?
Oh, we had a thunderstorm here. Bad one.
Oh, you're probably getting the one that came through here earlier today, maybe. I don't know. We got a really bad one this morning. Well, I know you missed the first part of the show. Albert was on with us when we couldn't get you on. So let me just talk to you for a moment. First of all, congrats on your promotion and welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
I know this has been a long time coming. You've done a lot for. I'm trying to find this graphic so I can put it back up. There it is. You've done a lot for Lone Star. You're part of the foundation when we first started. You've always helped with progressions and contracts, and you've even done stuff with the league for progressions. So obviously this is probably overdue if nothing else. But how does it feel finally get a little bit of recognition and be co-GM of the Lone Star Glory?
It's my pleasure to do whatever I can to help Lone Star or the league. I do want to point out it took 2 of us to fill your role.
Hey, I'm glad you said it. I wasn't going to say anything.
I just wanted to beat you to it.
Oh, that's hilarious. Most important question of the night. Now that you are a co-GM and you'll be even more have more influence in the building of players, you're not touching my sleeves, right?
Yeah, I have to answer that.
No. Okay.
We're cutting them. We're slicing them and dicing them.
Oh, that's wait, what is that? Is that London calling? Hello?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. San Diego.
Dude, look at Albert. Albert in the chat already throwing you under the bus. He says it's his idea, Dave. What is? Wait, somebody said laugh my ass off to Chad. What did Chad say in here? I don't see what Chad said. I don't see it. What role are you assuming, Dave? I'm assuming Dave Axis. Anyway, Yogi. You know, I know.
Wait a minute. Back to the sleeves. We thought we might just go with Zuvaz for you this year.
Yeah, how do we mute him again? How do can we mute? Can we
Come on
mute,
back, Thunderstorm.
Can we mute Yogi? Can we get that thunderstorm to make a U-turn and come back through? Unbelievable. Yes, Art Vandalay, that is a Clash song. Good catch there, by the way.
There you go.
Yogi, tell me what you're looking forward to the most being co-GM of Lone Star going into season 17.
Just continuing what we've been doing. I want to keep adding to the talent pool that we have. I want to keep building everybody's progression to get us as good as we can possibly get, and we want to march on towards potentially a championship in the future.
That is always the goal. That's always the goal. Well, Yogi, thanks for hanging on. Thanks for getting back on here. Thanks for being on the show. And again, congrats to a long overdue, well-deserved promotion.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate being here.
You got it, bro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we talked to Albert. We talked to Yogi. We talked to Johnny Bravo. And so now, since we're talking about the draft, I guess there's only one person really left to talk to. The expert on the draft himself, Mr. Jason Miller, is in the house. Jason Miller, welcome back to the show. It's been a minute. I haven't seen you in a long time. How you been?
Hey, Dave. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I caught a little bit of your article today about the top 5 teams that you feel like won the draft. You want to break some of that down real quick? Let me just remind everybody. You said Denver. Let me see. I got to pull it back up. Or the 5 teams you talked about. I'm sorry. Denver, Queen City, Mexico City, Louisiana, and Houston. And D.C. Oh, and Jacksonville. That's more than 5, bro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's like
there's a
7.
line, Dave. There's a line that separates between winners and quote unquote losers, man.
Okay, I don't see the
I'm
line.
gonna read,
Bro. All right, well, take me through. Let's talk about Denver for a moment. You know, we know Denver had to rebuild. They had a lot of holes to fill, lots of retirees in Denver. Tell me, how do you think Denver did, and what was the best thing they did in the draft?
I mean, like I told you earlier, I think they did a fantastic job right here. You know, they had to get their quarterback, they had to get their running back, and they surprised all of us by taking Isaiah King in the first round. I mean, King's a can't-miss prospect who's going to flourish under this new coaching regime of Adam Weisman. Price coming back into the second round as a quarterback is just a great move. There was probably, they are a win-now team, obviously, even with the new coaching staff. And so getting Price was a full build. And so that was a great move. Jim Copeland Jr. was an interesting choice. I think he's going to fit in nicely. And then Bailey O'Shaughnessy, obviously Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
I mean, try to find me a Mr. Irrelevant that's not good. That's going to be the opposite of that name, right? I mean, that's just, he's going to be a beast behind that offensive line for Denver.
What about Queen City? They traded up to get wide receiver Doug Spelling. Do you think they needed to do that, or could they have gotten Doug Spelling later, or what was the urgency there with Queen City?
Well, I mean, the draft was falling in a weird way, right? So, they took a kicker at number 8 overall after seeing Potty go at number 2. I love that name, Potty. But you had to trade up to be able to get some of that value because they would have had a pick later on. Who knows if Doug Spelling would have been there? We don't know what all these other teams are going to do. And if they valued him more than Nate Ritter's, then that's what you got to do. If you're going to trade up, get the value that you want, and that's going to be Ducks Valley.
Well, there you go. Let's move on to Mexico City for a moment. You have them listed here, but the talk of the town, and just earlier with Mike All letting us know, was the Mexico City mishap, if you will, in the draft, and unfortunately having to send Grimm back to the minor league. Talk to me about the entire Mexico City draft.
I mean, really, what we ought to do is see if there's a warrant out for Ramos' arrest for stealing, right? Because this guy made some steals in the draft, right? I mean, Jahad Brody is a animation-ready corner, and you're getting him at 16? What a brilliant move there for Mexico City. I mean, they didn't have any corners at all. They go back and get Jermaine Menfield in the second round, which is a great pick. And then the top wide receiver at 47, I mean, that just blows my mind. Then you come back and get Xavier Hawkins. Decent move there to try to help solidify that secondary. But obviously, Dante Grimm, I think, would have been a great fit there in Mexico City, but he's going to go back to the minors and be a top 5 pick next year for sure. But just once again, Ramos just pulling off another heist. Has just been a fantastic draft for him so far.
Real quick, I'm going to go to the chat before we move on to Louisiana here for a moment. People are loving what you're giving to us right now. And there's where Albert Begins said, I can't find it now, but I was thinking the same thing, Albert. We need to get this guy, Jason Miller, together with Bubba for sure on one of these shows. And DR Sim, nobody wants to go to jail in Mexico. That's faux show.
Nope.
That's for sure. And apparently Eagle Mondavi is not a very big fan of yours, Jason Miller.
Well, him and Chad have this weird beef, and it's whatever. I just think they love each other.
Yeah.
I need to go to that bastard's house and get my Purdue sweatshirt, but what? That's a whole different story.
It's a whole other story. Hey, Coach Craven in the chat said people at work wondering what the hell he's listening to right now. Let's move on to Louisiana. They only had 2 picks, but one was a very important pick, trying to find that franchise quarterback to replace Johnny Pickler. How do you think they did with that? And talk about Louisiana overall.
Yeah, I mean, Louisiana, they're starting the post-Pickler era, right? So, you had the 5th pick in the draft. You had your choice of any quarterback you want. You obviously have the coaching staff there at Salt Lake City being able to, train and work with Tommy Utah, which he needs to change his name to Tommy Revolution because that's what he is now. It just rolls right off the tongue. Tommy Revolution. But this is where I think they won the draft. He's coming back and getting Chance Wall in the second draft. I mean, he's the number 1 defensive tackle on the board. And with what they've done already in free agency by bringing in Coach Craven and the Twinkie man Doug Day and Mike Ryan, they've done a great job in having the backfield of Cameron Collier and Reggie Streeter is going to be a ferocious backfield, and they have done a really good job at this draft. I mean, they really impressed me with the picks that they had.
Well, let's move on to a team, by the way, that had, I don't know if they had the most picks, but they had to be up there. Houston. It looked like they had a lot of holes to fill. They were able to wait till the third to last pick, I think it was. Let's pull that round 3 up here real quick. Is it up? Yeah. And Dave Burr to get their quarterback. But let's spend a couple minutes on Houston and talk about all of their picks.
Yeah, I mean, they did a really good job, right? I mean, let's just go through and look. I mean, Sonny J obviously was kind of a question mark, but if you're wanting a kicker and the 2 teams before you took kicker, go get your kicker. But then in the second round, getting Josh Rowe, who I had as the number 1 rated secondary player, then you get Julius Maximus, who was a really good defensive end. Then you go and get Frank Stackhouse, who is the number 1 rated defensive end, moving over defensive tackle. Then you get Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones. At strong safety. And then Nana Leahy was a good pick as well. Zed Markov. And then obviously the bell of the ball, quarterback Dave Burr.
Yeah, I mean a lot of picks, but it looks like Houston knocked it out of the park. Let's go to the next team who had a lot of picks last season. The most, I believe, was, I want to say maybe 15, which was DC. With that many picks, obviously, last season's draft for DC at the time, having to pick 15, it's a crapshoot at that point when 2/3 of your team are rookies, or 3/4 of your team are rookies. However, they only had to pick 5 people, 5 players this season. How do you think DC did this season?
I just didn't like what they did, right? I mean, obviously, I'll just be upfront. You go out and you get Potty at number 2 overall.
You just like
You
saying
probably
you like saying that name like Bo like saying Dustin
Potty,
McCracken.
Potty. Yeah, Dustin McCrack. Potty. But, I mean, that pick could have been later on. Then you go get Chris Britton off the board at 23, which I just didn't even understand why. But once I started thinking about it, it made sense. Rupert Westcloud was a good pick. And then Mike Churchill was, I think, not a good pick. You had Mike Savage sitting there, and he didn't take him. Way higher value. And I think he would have been a beast in that DC offense, for sure. So there was just some picks that they missed. But taking a kicker that high may not work well for him, because it didn't work for London last year with Jack Lewis. He's already gone. And you take the lowest rated fullback in the first round. You got no value for your draft pick. So just not really a good draft, in my mind, if you're DC.
Okay. Then let's go on to somebody who's on the panel tonight. Mike All, the GM of Jacksonville. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players. You started off your article, this part of the article that says, so let me say this. I don't think Jacksonville had a bad draft, ... Just a confusing one. You want to kind of clarify those comments for us and for Mike here on the panel?
I love Mike. I mean, look at that body. It looks good. But it was just confusing because, they went offensive line, and I think that's to help Marcus Dunhill, who is coming out of the retirement home to play again. And, you get 3 linemen, and then you get that tight end, which will be interesting. But your last 3 picks are defense, where I think you needed it more than anything. I think you had an opportunity to take, like, a Chance Wall or Robert Crone at defensive tackle. But you go and get Marcus Sledge, which that's fine if he's the player you want. But I think they could have got some of those offensive linemen later on, especially with the way Robert Cron fell.
Well, let's wrap this up, and then after you talk about St. Louis, I'm actually going to go to the panel, and then we have a couple other people that are wanting to jump on the show as well. St. Louis, only 3 picks. You called their draft interesting, and it says we know what GM Eagle Mondavi has said about him winning the draft because we didn't have to pick a quarterback, which is great. But when you get the chance to get a defensive lineman in the first round for a team that didn't have a defensive lineman, Patrick Kelly wasn't a great move. Talk about that and talk about their draft.
Yeah, and let me clarify. They did have 2 defensive linemen, okay? That was a misprint. I will be a man and apologize to Eagle and the rest of the Gladiators. But I think that with the value that was there, I think you could have got Kelly at 34 and got Chance Wall at 15 and had a really good defensive tackle. Because Igor is a 64 and Tom Tanner's a 70.5. And, you don't go and get him, but yet you go and get holdovers at 55, which is a copper. I mean, you could build them up right, depending on how many weeks it takes to get the bronze. But in my mind, I just think with the defensive needs and defensive line, I think they could have just went better. I like Patrick Kelly. I think he's going to be good on the offensive line. I just think they could have went in a different direction and been at the top of the article, not at the bottom.
Okay, well, Jason, stick around. I'm going to go through the panel. I'm going to see if they have any comments or questions for you about your article that came out. Frank, let me start with you. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to read the article yet or not, but just based on what Jason was saying about these teams, do you have any comments or questions for him or the article?
Well, first of all, was that Jason or was that Fozzie Bear? I couldn't tell who was talking there, but
people say it's more like Marvin the Martian.
Well, there's that.
I like what Jason has done. He does a good job. He's very thorough in what he does, and I like how he put out his mock at the right before the draft and had his breakdown on why each team was picking each one and things like that. And you know, I was kind of confused a little bit too on some of the picks that were going on in Jacksonville. But yeah, I know Mike All he's a great guy and he's a great GM, and he's gonna do a good job building that team. But I could see it unfolding, and I kind of understood it as it went along. But at first, I was kind of confused about that. The fall of Mike Crone was a surprise to me as well. And then not only the fall of him at defensive tackle, knowing teams needed defensive tackle, he was drafted as an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
And so that was a shock to me as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that they did okay. It was just confusing to me because they lost a lot of players on the defensive side of the ball, and I think they could have went defense first, then go get that offensive line. They still could have had an opportunity to get, you know, at least one stud defensive prospect before they went back into the bottom half of the draft.
Well, you know what? We have that panelist available for comment right now. So, but right before I go to Mike All, somebody else in the chat said you sound more like Grover. You're getting a lot of comments on your voice, Jason.
Yeah, I've been told that before too.
Mike All, questions or comments for Jason Miller and or the article that he wrote?
Sure, yeah. No, I think he wrote a great article, and he made some valid points. However, in Jacksonville, we had a definite plan. We stuck to that plan. We got the players we wanted at those positions based on how we knew or suspected things were going to fall during the draft. I'm happy with every single player I got, and I loved. And I wish Chad was here tonight. I wish Chad was around.
He was. I tried to get Chad on the panel, but he had something to do with his dad this evening, so he wasn't able to make it.
Yeah, but I loved not only being able to entertain everybody with my various locations and food items. I loved more living in the heads of everyone on the panel. I loved watching their confused faces every time I made a pick. Thank you for the entertainment in return, gentlemen that were on the panel. But yeah, we followed our plan to a T, and we are gonna surprise some people this coming season. And like I said, Jason did a great job on his article, and he's fair and efficient with his writing, and he does a good job. He wasn't inside Jacksonville to know the plan.
All right, that's real quick. I guess Chad is listening to the show, by the way. Chad, just real quick, whatever's going on with your dad this evening, hope everything's good to go, bro. Nate, anything for Jason Miller or about the article that he wrote?
I'm going to be honest. I didn't get a chance to read the article yet, but however, yeah, I know. But what's your opinion on why do you think the defensive tackles were taken so late in this draft? One was only taken in the second round, and the last four were taken there in that last round. But why do you think the hesitation was?
You know, that's a good question. I think the kickers, you know, those three that went in the top 10 kind of hurt that position. Offensive line, obviously, London going Ibarra at 7, and then St. Louis going Kelly at 15 and Fury at 24. That was 6 picks right there where I think defensive tackle could have been taken. And so once all that kind of pushed back, then I think people just said, I'll just wait because the value is basically a late second, early third for the defensive tackles compared to first round grades.
There you go. Last question for Jason or comment and his article. We'll go to Johnny Bravo before we bring on some people that are waiting to get on the show. Johnny, do you have anything for Jason or about the article that he wrote?
I always enjoy seeing the mock drafts and the articles that everyone does. I haven't read his article yet. I'll read it a little bit later, but I enjoy seeing people that are really involved and excited and keeping up with what all's going on. He had our picks, perfect. I mean, me and Jacob Clear didn't know if he was in our DMs or what was going on. We called out to him and told him we knew he was there. But when I saw that mock draft, I was like, how does this guy know this? I mean, he had both of them. So good job, dude. Keep it up.
It's almost like woman's intuition, but it's man intuition.
Well, I got a VPN now, so hopefully you're not able to get into my computer anymore.
You never know.
There you go. Let me before we Jason, are you able to stick around or do you have to bounce?
No, man, I'm good. I got made in the shade right now.
Okay, I'm
So we're good.
gonna bring a couple people on. I think there's somebody from Houston, another Charleston person. I think somebody else that wanted to jump on in After Dark. Before we get to After Dark, though, I want to remind everybody to don't forget about the other content creators in the league, the other shows. And you know what? Somebody mentioned something somewhere I read that maybe we should have content channels, two of them, one for like shows like this and AJ and everybody, and then one for the written content because there seems to be more and more written content as we're going along. So I fully support that if it's not too much of a hassle for the league. By the way. So in addition to all the written content that's going on right now, don't forget to catch AJ's show, Coach's Corner. Not sure if he's dropping anything this week or not. Nelson on Mondays and Fridays, and then of course Eddie with Say It With Your Chest. And I don't know if you caught his show on Saturday before the draft. But Coach and Johnny got into it a little bit, and if you haven't heard it, it's definitely a good listen. You should definitely go listen to that. We still don't have an official word on NETMA yet. We're hoping to hear something soon. And I think that covers all the shows. So let's go to After Dark. And I'll pop up the graphics too as we talk about them. Let me see who's in here so far. First one in for After Dark is none other than the owner of the Houston Hyenas, DR Sim. DR Sim, I noticed in the chat you wanted to jump on to talk about how you went from only needing 3 picks going into the draft 2 weeks before it started to needing 8 on the day of the final day of free agency. So first of all, welcome back to the show, bro, and the floor is yours to explain that.
Yeah, hey Dave, thanks for having me on. What's up to everyone on the panel? Jason, how you doing, buddy? Good to hear your voice.
Hey, hell of a draft, man. Hell of a draft.
Thank you, dude. But yeah, I just wanted to explain how we got to needing 8 picks, 2 years in a row, which is crazy, right? It wasn't that we lost a lot of players to free agency or so, which we did lose a few. So right after the season was over with, Kentez Johnson informed me. He say, "Hey, I'm going to come back," and so forth. And so I did inform. Well, we did inform E.T. King that Kentez was coming back. We explained everything what happened to King before we signed him the previous season. So also, so when the season was over with, King was expecting to stay. I did inform King that I did like his player. I did inform him that I felt that his player was a better player than Kentez was, but I felt that it was only right to bring Kentez back because of what happened to him. Like I said, it wasn't his fault in reference to the team posting that his player was rejoining the team before the league did announce that whole social media incident or so. But so when it got time for Kentez to sign his contract, or should I say renew his subscription, due to the increase of price, Kentez decided to retire his player. So bam, out goes that QB. So now we scrapping, trying to get King back. And there's some kind of animosity in the air there. So and so he did agree to sign back with us, and he just didn't get his subscription paid either. So that's the QB spot that's out. Also, same issue with Barnes. We was right at the point where we were getting Barnes to sign his contract, and he needed to renew his subscription. So he never got his subscription paid. So not only that, our defensive end, Wolf Justice, we couldn't find him after the season ended. Wolf just fell off the face of the earth. Not that he was talkative or very active within the team locker room, but he fell off the face of, or should I say, the he. And I even reached out to Restele. I was like, "Hey, did this guy leave the server?" I said because I've sent him many, many messages, and he has not returned any of my message or so. So he didn't renew his subscription, didn't get his contract signed in either. Well, actually, I don't think Wolf needed to renew his subscription. I just think he just needed to sign the contract, and he just never did.
Hmm.
So that's three players there. Also, Zach Turner. We informed Zach that he needed to get his subscription paid. Zach never got it taken care of. He waited to the last week. He informed me maybe about a month ago that he was waiting on a debit card to come in. Then the week of, the last week of free agency, I'm like, hey Zach, we need you to get your contract done. You need to get your subscription paid. Oh well, I'm waiting on my debit card. I was like, dude, it don't take a debit card, 4 weeks to get to you. It only takes 7 to 10 business days.
Right.
And so then he went into he just went into a crazy situation with that. It just got down to the last moments or so for him to sign, and he just couldn't. I mean, to subscribe, and he just couldn't get that done. So that's four players there. We were bringing in another player that played with Chicago to come in and play cornerback due to us losing Ragal Lar. So the plan was to move Barnes over to the strong safety. We was going to move Ethan Kai down to the slot, and we was going to bring in Jesse Vick to play that opening corner, which Marco played would move. We was moving Marco Swift over to cornerback one. So Jesse folded on us as well. He was supposed to, pay his subscription, get his contract. I had the contract ready. Everything was ready for these guys. They all just folded on us, and we was like, wow. So that was the five right there, adding to the three that we lost in free agency to basically come in and just, get these guys, going or so forth. And I felt that Jesse Barnes would have been a great, bringing Barnes back would have been great for the defense, and Jesse coming in as well would have just been great for that defensive secondary. But I feel that we did pretty good in the draft in reference to what we got. The players that we brought in, man, those guys are just outstanding in the locker room. We moved from a quarterback that's extremely active, motivated, uplifting every player in the locker room. And man, Sonny J, I can't say enough about Sonny J, dude. I mean,
Yeah, I think he's really popular in the minor league too. I think. Hey, I want to just ask you a quick question. Everybody's talking about Mike All in a horror flick, and now his screen just started flickering. I'm getting a little worried about Mike All there. Did Jesse Vick come back or not come back?
he did not come back.
Oh, he
Actually,
didn't
the
come back.
crazy part about that was that he joined the server
I saw that.
and he joined the server, and I had Cam, Rastelli, and it was someone else. They was like, they had to go into the portal, build his player, all that stuff there, and then he leaves the server. And then that makes me look like an ass because I'm getting a message from Cam because I asked him to do, can they
Right.
go ahead and make his player in the server?
Right.
And Cam comes back to me, hey, well, thank you for wasting my time.
Exactly.
So I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? He's like, well, Jesse Vick left the server, so
Dude, that's just a
but
lot of bad luck in a row. But the outcome is you had a pretty good draft according to Jason Miller. Speaking of which, Jason, are you still with us?
Oh yeah, I'm still here.
Hey, do you have anything else for Damon that you wanted to ask him about? Any clarification on anything about his draft?
I mean, you could just go ahead and tell the world how good that pick of Dave Burr is because I had it written that he was your pick. I know that me and Chad are buddy, and he told me he talked to you. So talk about getting Dave Burr as your franchise quarterback.
that Dave Burr pick was it's very interesting because I interviewed several quarterbacks, and I was gonna go with a different QB, but just Dave Burgess came with a different type of energy. You know, the energy that he wanted to be in Houston. It didn't feel that he was going to come in for a season or maybe two and then bounce. You know, the guy was like, man, if you draft me, I'm not going nowhere, you know, and that type of stability is what you're looking for when you drafting these guys. You know, I didn't expect to draft Ragal Law last season and for him to bounce right after this season, you know. And then the ultimatum that I got from him as well is that, well, you pay me in wins, and you know, and then I'll stay with your team. Dude, I have no control of what the AI decides the outcome of these ball games, you know. So, but yeah. So going back to Dave Bird, man, just an outstanding individual, and I had two conversations with other quarterbacks, and they just didn't sound excited to me. I'm just gonna put it like that. And Dave really sound excited. And you know, also when it got down to it, I was like, okay, well, Dave really doesn't have the ratings, you know, that you would want the head of your team to be. You know, you look at guys that were left on the board, and Reno and Patterson, those guys had outstanding, you know, QB ratings or so. Basically maxed out in every passing rating that it is for the QB. Unlikely for Burr. So I reached out to some friends of mine in such as Atlanta. I asked Mark, because Mark went to the same situation when Dunhill decided to retire. Mark had to go with, you know, what I mean, he went with Dynasty. He said Dynasty was basically a base bronze, you know, and he said it was something that actually made him a whole lot. I'm not gonna say tougher, but he said a whole lot of understanding in reference to, you know, building his quarterback and you getting someone that wants to be with your squad. He said that's the most important thing is the character of the individual, and Dave showed character. I want to say Saturday night. I'm in Austin, Texas. I'm not at home. I wasn't at home at the time, and you know, me and my wife and kids were in Austin, and so I get two messages from Dave, and these are long messages about how much he wants to be part of the organization, you know. And I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep at all. And so I talked to my team the next morning, and they say, well, let's keep the options open. Uh, let's move drafting the quarterback to the last pick, you know. And then so let's say maybe about an hour or so before the draft, we knew who we wanted to get, and we knew that we was going to save that pick for last.
And
Nice, nice.
which was a great move. Go ahead, Jason.
No, I was just saying that was an excellent idea. I mean, because you were able, you know, as a draft analyst, you know, Dave, yes, he didn't have as maybe good build as Reno or Scar Patterson, but the dude is just a beast when it comes to character, right?
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
having that guy last was able to get you other guys that
Hmm.
have really good value that really will help your team now. So it was
Yeah,
an excellent draft.
it's funny you say that because, and then people was questioning, well, why did you guys trade with Denver? You know, you gave them your 29th pick and you fell, you know, 9, 10 spots back. I'm in the second round. Well, if you look at it, we that pick that we trade with Denver. Hold on, I have it here.
I've just popped it up on the screen. The second round, you got. Let me see where it's
Yeah,
at.
I think we got their 38 pick. We got Denver's 38,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had the 43rd, and I think we had somewhere around like 52 or so. So that's three picks within the next 12 picks or so, right?
Right, right.
So
49,
with that,
49 was your other one, and 52, right?
right,
And
exactly.
58.
So
Holy crap.
yeah, yeah. So looking at it here, so with the Denver trade, we was able to get Josh Rowe, which was I think the number one free safety or out of all
He
safeties
was
that
the
we got.
number one rated secondary player, period, on my board.
Yeah, yeah. So we got him, and then got Julius Maximus at 43, and then the pick of my steal of the draft was Denver's 49th pick that we got from them was Frank Stackhouse.
Stackhouse.
Right
Yeah.
before that pick at 47. Now I've messaged Stackhouse on Thursday or so, haven't received a response from him at all. And then at the 48 pick, he messaged me, "Hey, dude, I must have overlooked your pick." He said, "I would love for you guys to take me," and he said, "I would love for you guys to take my buddy Mike Jones too." I said, "If you're serious, we'll take you at 49, and we'll take your buddy Mike Jones at 52." We were already in talks with Leahy about taking him at 52. We reached out to Leahy, "Hey, can we slide you down to 58?" Leahy was like, "Sure, I have no problem with that. As long as you guys get who you want and then come back and get me, I'm fine."
Well, real quick, Ethan Kai saying he busted his butt for this draft.
He
Mac
did.
Anthony saying that Dave Burr is a sleeper. Everybody, Dave Burr's getting a lot of love in the chat tonight. But I'm gonna switch for a second, Dr. If you can hang out for a minute. I want another team. We have another person who just jumped on that we're going to get to in just a moment. But before we do, Albert Begin, are you still in the house? Are you still around with us right now? Let me see if Albert's still here. I don't know what it is with all these Lone Star Code GMs always being muted and that's whatever.
Well,
But.
I'm here. Sorry, I was falling asleep. What's
Yeah,
up?
no worries. Oh, it's late. Dude, it's only 10:30. This might be the shortest show I ever did. I just wanted to ask you, did you hear Jason Miller's talk about Queen City? And I just wanted to see if you wanted to comment on how he thought Queen City had a good draft and what you thought about your former team's draft.
Well, I think they filled spots that I knew that they were going to be getting rid of anyway. I think the draft they're going a different direction than I would have. I think, but overall, I want to say they did an okay job. I mean, for a rebuild, that's the best they probably could do.
Yeah, I mean, they only had, they did well in free agency, so they only had to draft 3 players. They made that trade to move up to pick to get Doug Spelling as a wide receiver, so they had all their picks in the first 27 picks, which isn't too shabby. Yogi, are you still with us too?
I'm here.
I was just going to ask you, what were your overall impressions of the draft this season? And especially compared to some of the former drafts, like 14, 15, 16.
Jimmy Hazard got drafted. That made my draft.
Yeah,
I worked with him from day one. But yeah, it was a good draft. There were some surprises. I thought picking a punter early was a pretty radical move. But hey, every team has their own way of going about it.
True. Well, let me. I'm going to bring on, I guess, to make sure he's here. We have in. Let me see if he's here. I thought he was here. What happened to him? Johnny, where'd he go? He was here a second ago. Now he's gone. Well, I thought I had the new.
He's there in your Showtime.
Is he?
He's right below
He's
Gunny.
in there.
Oh, there he is. Oh, you know what he did? He shortened up his name. That's what he did. Okay. The new was GM and head coach, and I believe maybe even offensive coordinator of the Charleston Predators and writer of his own articles now, his written content, a clearer picture. Jacob, what's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
Good, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing great. What time is it where you're at?
It's 12:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, in the afternoon. Oh, so it's not like these English guys that I keep up all night. You're actually keeping us up then, I guess.
That's it. Yes.
That's it. So you had mentioned you wanted to come on after dark to talk about something. What do you want to talk about?
I guess because I didn't catch it after the draft. I was sort of reading back after everything unfolded as to the reactions of what we were doing. And I guess we wanted to clear up, Johnny and I have been talking about this for most of this offseason as to what we wanted to do with this team because we knew we wanted to make some changes. I guess the first thing that everyone sort of saw what we were doing was we were moving away from that 2 tight end set. And this was something that I guess I wanted from the day that I was hired as coaching the offense was that we wanted to move away from the tight ends, 2 tight end set, and move to something that we felt would be more productive with the weapons we have on offense. And I guess looking at the Sutherland selection, that was the first pick, the first fullback, I should say, that the franchise ever had. And this is a position that, from my understanding, Alan vowed that he would never given opportunity to. And we wanted Alexander. That was who we were taking up until we had to move to that defensive end in the first round. And in the end, we picked up our next best option, and he sort of fell to us in the right position. But he wants to be here, and he's really stood out to us so far and what we're doing. But generally, moving Zanardi to safety as well on the other side of the ball. That's where Johnny's going to be coaching our defense, and he's got defensive backs for days. He's got a guy in a dime position now, so he's really stacking that secondary. But that's basically the team changes that we're making, and we're hoping that the identity is going to remain the same, but there'll be some adjustments to the uniforms, as we said. But this is the new era in Charleston.
It sounds exciting. Jacob, before you go, I don't know if you have to go or not, but other than Charleston, what are your impressions of the draft overall this time in season 17?
Well, I don't like having bias, but I did really like Denver's draft simply because of the fact that they managed to snare Eric Price in the second round, so they were happy to wait on their quarterback, and they got who I felt was one of if not the top QB on the board. But again, I am biased, and again, someone I interviewed before the draft, Bailey O'Shaughnessy, going with that last pick. That was someone that I wanted to see go off the board. It looked likely that it would be Douglas Brown up until the day, and then they went with O'Shaughnessy. But I was happy to see that as someone that I talked to a lot across these 2 seasons.
That was super solid. That was a super solid pick for sure. Jacob, hang around for a moment. We've got another person who just jumped in the Showtime room. The third year, coming up third season, quarterback for Atlanta, my former team. Bryant Dynasty is in the house. Dynasty, what's up, bro? How you been, man? You unmuted yourself, but I still don't hear you. Frank, give me 1 second too. Hold on. Dynasty, jump out of the room, and then jump back in. Let's see if we can get him up. Sometimes Gunny has the same problem, so we'll see what happens. Nobody hears Dynasty, right? You guys don't hear him either? Okay. Real quick, while we're waiting for Dynasty, Frank, I know you got to bounce. You got stuff going on in the morning. Real quick before you go, overall impressions of the season 17 draft.
Since I've been here, not the typical draft. It kind of looked like it was kind of confusing in different areas. But overall, I thought a lot of good teams that needed to fill some holes with good quality people had that opportunity, because there was a lot of guys out there, a lot of good players out there that are good quality chat involvement and all that stuff. And there's some other guys that didn't get drafted that are good, high quality guys that if they don't get picked up during the season, will go high in the rounds next season's draft.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that for sure. Or you never know. And I can't remember what the new rule is now off the top of my head, but if somebody bounces and they got to pick somebody up, like Kendra Hall got picked up or whatever, I think there's that certain week now that changed that you can't do that. But you never know what could happen, right, Frank?
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if a defensive back somewhere ends up falling off. Dante Graham being the first one picked up.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, Frank, I know you got to bounce. Thanks for being here again. I'm sure I'll see you soon.
All right, good night, all.
Thanks, man. Michael, first of all, there's been a lot of concern for you in the chat about being murdered tonight in a horror movie. Are you currently filming a horror movie?
No, Dave, it's porn.
Are you currently filming horror porn?
Yes, Dave.
You know
yes.
What? I think I need to get that After Dark graphic back up. As we're going through things. Oh, let's see if we can get Dynasty back in now. Dynasty, can you hear me, bro? Can you hear me now? Bum, 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 bum. Nope. Michael, as we're wrapping things up, give me your overall impressions of season 17 draft, and especially compared to the last couple seasons.
So, Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of great people, not just players, but people in this draft. And some of the minors players did get left behind that should have been drafted, and it's a shame, but it happens. But there was a lot of great people, Dave, not just players, but people that went in this draft, and that's to me what matters the most is who are you as a person? We can make your player work.
Yeah.
Who are you as a person? And that's what mattered to me. And there was a lot of great people that won this draft, and for me, I was drafted in the first season of SFL. Last year, I got to make our 2 picks. This year, I had so much fun with it, Dave. I enjoyed the hell out of the draft. I hope I made it fun for everybody else that was watching. But I had a great time, and it was, to me, the most fun draft so far.
That's awesome to hear, bro. Nate, before I get to you, let me bounce over to Jason Miller for a second. Jason, go ahead and tell us what you told us about some of the teams, but give us your overall impression of the season 17 draft.
There was some highs, there were some lows, but it was a really good draft. It was a lot of fun to watch. These teams did a really good job of, picking players that are going to fit their schemes, and some of these guys I'm wanting to really see how their careers progress. So I'm just really excited for season 17.
That's good to hear. Any last words, Jason, before I move on from you?
Yeah, so obviously, as a written content guy, be on the lookout for the Miller Manifesto. For rookies that don't know what the Miller Manifesto is, I break down the positives and negatives of each team and give a prediction for the upcoming season. So it's my little season preview. So be on the lookout for that here in the next couple of weeks.
That's awesome. All right, Jason, thanks for all your written content, and thanks for jumping on and being with us tonight. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir.
Nate Hall, overall impression of the season 17 draft.
It was a really good draft. I mean, yeah, there were some head scratchers and, trying to figure out what teams were thinking when they were drafting some of these players, or what their, what they were, what their schemes were, I guess, when it comes to the draft of why they chose that position over another. But like Jason said, it's going to be really fun to see, especially some of these skill players that got picked up, like quarterback and running back, to see how they do in their first season. With a lot of, like we've been saying, with a lot of these, longer tenured quarterbacks and running backs starting to retire like they did last season. It's going to be fun to see this new breed of players come into the league and see what they can contribute.
Absolutely. Dynasty, let's give this one more shot. Can you hear me? Now Dynasty's actually muted. Dynasty. Oh, there you go. Can you hear me, bro? Yeah, you're unmuted, but you're not coming through to us. I'm guessing you can hear me since you're unmuted, but we are not hearing you at all, bro. I don't know if you're on a phone or computer. I'm not sure what you're doing, but we can't hear you, bro. Sorry about that. All right. Nate, thanks for that. Johnny Bravo, your overall.
Yes, sir.
You've been here, what do I say, since season 12. What's your
Yes, sir.
overall impression of the season 17 draft, especially compared to the past several seasons since you've been here?
It was interesting, like all the other drafts are. Everybody tries to figure it up, and teams have their own plan. Some positions went earlier than people expected. Some went later. We saw a punter get drafted, and I'm not sure with the record books, but a lot of quarterbacks this draft, 5. So, and all the players that didn't get drafted, man, keep your heads up. Do another round in the SFLM. It really shows teams that you're willing to stick around no matter what happens. And we've had players that we've had to replace mid-season, so you never know what could happen. You might not even have to do or go through the SFLM again next season. You'll get picked up by a team. But if you do, your value is going to be higher, and it shows teams that, you're committed to the SFL and you'll be a high tier for next season's draft.
That's good, yeah. And you guys are hearing that from an owner, you guys. Dude, Dynasty keeps jumping out, and I keep putting him back in, but he keeps just jumping out. I'm not sure. Yep, I can't even keep him in the Showtime room for some reason. Before I get to DR Sim, Gunny, are you still with us?
Yes.
Gunny, give us your overall impressions of the draft this season.
I enjoyed seeing it. I mean, it seems like the draft's a little shorter, under 3 rounds this year. A lot of quality pickups, players. Sad about the players that got to go back to the minor leagues again, but they're just going to be even stronger next season. Overall, it's a good draft for everyone, top to bottom. I think it's going to be another competitive season for the SFL.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Cam came on the show and said that season 16 was the most competitive that he's ever seen, but I think season 17 is going to be even more competitive, Gunny. I think you're right. Gunny, thanks for being here as usual, bro. Dynasty, any luck?
Can you hear me?
Holy shit, what do you know? We got a Bryant Dynasty sighting.
my
Hello.
I feel like the anti-Mike. Oh, I can't get in any fucking room. It's ridiculous.
And as soon as you get on, he goes into the Matrix. That's amazing. So Dynasty, what's going on with you, bro? How you been, and what you want to talk about tonight?
I wanted to roast the hell out of Jason Miller and do my Grover impression, but kind of killed the moment.
That's right.
Well, bitch, step up.
I'm gonna sue Jason Miller for copyright infringement. I do a bit. It's over. The moment is gone.
Dude, we're gonna have to. Maybe we need to have a Grover.
Grover off.
Yeah, Grover off. Don't get too excited there, Mike. Don't get too excited there.
Grover, how are you today, sir? Hey, tell Martin that I want to do voice work too. Can we get Bo to let him know? I can do some voices too.
Okay, so now I got to get Jason Miller, Bubba, and Dynasty all on one show now. Apparently.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
a hell of a season.
Hey, for the con, like, what have you thought about what you're gonna do for the podcast live at the convention?
I've got a couple things up my Do I Dare Say sleeve.
Oh, like, is that before or after Yogi cuts him up?
Well, it's better be before. I know. Yeah, no, I got a couple ideas. Things I want to do. I still got to have some final conversations with Cam, but we've talked about some stuff. So, just be ready for some stuff. That's all I can say.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Dynasty, while you're here,
Yeah.
how did Atlanta's draft go, and who'd you guys pick up, and what'd you think about the Atlanta draft?
Well, I'm more of I'm not a front office guy. I'm the graphics guy when they need me. But, of course, I bother the hell out of Siege. Like, hey, who are we picking? Why are we picking these people?
Right.
So we did end up getting Ryan Roosevelt, a receiver, in the first round.
Yep.
Great pick. I've heard good things. A lot, because, me, I'm in the SFLM chat. Technically, Lincoln is still a SFLM team, although we haven't fielded a team for the last 2 seasons. So I can see these guys in chat. We picked up J Rock from Madison in the second round at cornerback. We had a few losses. We lost to retirement. Who did we lose to? We lost somebody to retirement, and we lost Conadarian. So we definitely needed to shore up that third corner spot. And then we got Garrett Hudson at linebacker in the third round. So we got some good guys. They're real excited. Happy to see them hit the field. We have a scrimmage this Sunday against the Storm. So we'll see how that goes. Tell Charles we need a scrimmage against you guys too.
Awesome. I will let him know. And also, real quick, Dynasty, before you go, Benji Matson says, I'm not going to the convention, but can I still get a Bryant Dynasty button, is what he wants to know.
Yeah, man, definitely. If anybody is interested who's not attending the convention, please send me a DM. We'll work something out. They're not expensive. You saw the quality, Dave. I've sent you a couple.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I don't see you showing them off anymore.
Whoa. You're obviously not watching my show. I showed him off on the 100th show.
I don't know. Did I not catch
Yeah,
that
it's
then?
it's
I
in
might
the
have
it's
jumped
in
in
the
late.
it's in the 100th show video that we
Okay.
made that Tom Welsh made for me. It literally the buttons with the big "Thank you Bryant Dynasty." It's I mean it couldn't
Okay.
be any bigger. If it was a snake, you'd be dead.
I'll have to go back and watch it then. Because, I am in a different time zone than all of you guys. So I'm actually at work when you start the show. So I do have to jump in a little bit later. So
That's
until daylight savings time is over, I won't
yeah.
be able to catch a full show
We
until
need
then.
we
So that's
need
not till
we
October.
need dynasty light savings time is what we need, bro.
Ah,
Exactly.
this guy.
All right, bro. Hey, thanks for jumping on, and we'll see you at the convention, man.
Hell yeah, man. Excited to see you. Excited to meet Lisa so she can say all the bad shit about you. So,
Yeah, it's all right. Everybody's
mm.
gonna talk bad shit about me to her. I'm already on it. I already told her you guys are all a bunch of liars and don't believe a word you guys say.
Oh, man. Well, you're stepping down as GM, so you got more time on your hands. I'm
Hey,
sure she appreciates that.
yeah, I've been really busy in the SFL. I need to kind of take some steps back and let some other people take the reins for a little bit. So
Yeah, I understand.
no worries at all. Hey, Dynasty, thanks for being on, bro.
Yeah, appreciate you.
All right, you got it, man. You too. All right. Hey, last word for the draft. I'm going to go to back to DR Sim before we wrap this up. We got 5 minutes left before we come up on 2 hours, so I want to stay under the 2 hour mark if possible. DR, you've been around here for a minute, so with all the drafts you've seen, how do you rate and compare season 17 to all the others?
Dave, to be honest with you, I thought this season 16 draft was the best, but I have to go with this one right here, man. I mean, because it was just so much. I mean, so many. I mean, we had like 200 some views. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
To catch a draft, and it's on the weekend. It's during the off season. A lot of people had their own lives to go and deal with whatever. But instead, 200 plus people caught the SFL draft. On a Saturday afternoon on a pretty sunny day. At least it was sunny here in Texas, but. But yeah, man, I think this draft here would probably have to be the best. And another reason for that is because I myself and my team, we got a great group of guys that came in this draft. And as Ethan stated in the chat, he busted his ass for this
Yeah.
draft. And he did. And he did. I mean, he actually I've stated before that I believe that Ethan is one of the greatest GMs in this league, and he actually showed it this draft because it was Ethan that made the call for the Denver trade. I was like, hell no. And Ethan was like, come on, trust me. He's like, take a look at this. He's like, we can get that pick. And then, as I was explaining earlier, we had 3 picks within a 12 pick range or so. So it was his call on that. He linked up with Kramer reached out to him and they got the trade done or whatever. So thank you, Ethan, for that and your hard work in this draft or so. He also helped with interviewing process with some of the players or whatever. And by him also being in the minors, I believe that every team needs to have a face down there in the
I
minors.
agree with that. I completely agree with that.
Dude, because if it during the season of of the SFLM, the last season, I'm basically finishing up my last 2 classes of my graduate degree. So I didn't watch any SFLM games, maybe two. I can say maybe two, but the entire season I didn't watch much as I did the previous 2 seasons. And so by having Ethan in there and having a good friend like Chad down there as well, Chad was in my ear. Hey man, blah, 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 blah.
Right. Well,
but
I think
but
Chad does that to everybody, but that's okay.
yeah. So Chad really was. I saw someone put in the chat earlier that Chad was Dave Burr agent. So
There you go. There you go. I
but
I
yeah,
think he's Jason Miller's agent too, but go ahead.
it might be. But yeah, man. Like I said, I think every team should have a face down in the minors, man, so that they can have a peek at these players and what's going on see what's going on down there. As far as who's active, who's not active, and the type of character that you're getting. And when I spoke with Mark about should I go with character over quantity, and he said, man, I always go with character.
Yep. Yep.
You can get the quantity later,
Yep.
and so and that's
And
something
it gives
that
you
that we
less. It gives you less turnover down the road too.
It does. It does. It does. And also, we needed someone like Dave to come into this locker room at that QB spot, someone who's active, who's loud, who's flamboyant. I mean, dude is just has been just a positive energy to the locker room. Him and Sonny J as well. Those two guys, man, are probably the most active, and they have just been putting on the show. So I'm looking forward to the season. A lot of people will say that we're in a rebuilding stage. I wouldn't say a rebuilding stage. I would say we're just in a moving forward stage. Out with the old, in with the new, and let's just get the ball rolling.
Sounds good. It sounds like you guys had a great draft, and good luck, except against Lone Star in the upcoming season, bro.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
having me on
of
and
course.
allow me to explain how we went from needing 3 picks to 8. So,
No worries at all, bro. You're always welcome here, man.
all right, thanks,
All
bro.
right, man. See ya. And just for the record, I believe that my favorite draft is also Cam's favorite draft. I believe that would be the season 15 draft with the supplemental draft, which Cam loves to talk about every time he comes on my show. 7 rounds of just madness. I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again in the SFL, but it was fun to live through it. Yep, Doug Britton, we already got it for the next draft. Draft Justin Reside. That's the new one for this season for sure, for this upcoming season. All right, folks, that's a wrap. Special thanks to Frank, the franchise Wade, Mike, the horror movie doing porn in the jacuzzi, all, Nate Hall, the newest co-owner of the Charleston Predators, Mello Taylor / Johnny Bravo, Albert Begin, Yogi Barr, Jason Miller, of course, Jacob Clear, Dynasty, Gunny, DR Sim. I mean, what a show. It was loaded. And just for the record, I told these guys in the pre-show, this is going to be a quick, easy show, maybe an hour, 15 minutes. And every time I say that, we go 2 hours. I don't know. I guess I jinxed myself. I don't know what the deal is. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you guys are still listening. And we had another hell of a show and a hell of a good night. So once again, thanks to everybody that was on the show. Thank you to all my favorite party people in the show chat. Appreciate all of you. Can't wait to see you next Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, right here when we do what? We see you at the tees.